Hello everyone, this is William Roos. Today I'm going to introduce you to a little project that we're going to do that's going to help you develop the skills for 3D modeling. Today we're going to draw an Autodesk Inventor 2018. We're going to design a project where we take 27 cubes that are 3/4 by 3/4 inch by 3/4, 27 of them, and we're going to make a Tetris style puzzle cube of your design. Once you've designed the part out of wood, glue it together, you're going to come into CAD and we're going to draw it in the 3D modeling software. And then we're going to turn it into an STL file and print it on a 3D printer. But first we need to actually learn how to use Autodesk Inventor. Now, I'm assuming that we've already created our puzzles, and we're going to actually now draw each of our parts. Our project is going to consist of between 5 and 6 puzzle pieces, and each piece will have between 4 and 6 pieces of its own. There are many different ways to draw the same part in Inventor. And that's one thing that is up to the student or the learner to design their own part. I'm going to show you a couple different ways that we can design the same part just using different tools in the program. First thing we need to do is we're going to open up Autodesk Inventor 2018. There are many other models of Inventor. It's all the way from 2018 all the way back to 1995. Who knows? If you're using a later version or an earlier version, they're pretty much the same tool, just the tools may be in different locations. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to open it up and we're going to choose a part, because ideally everything starts as a part. I'm going to click on part. Now, I'm going to draw a very simple part that's just the shape of an L. We all know the Tetris cube that has a little L piece. Basically, it would be 3 pieces on the one side and 1 piece mounted to the right or left at the end. Now, I'm going to show you up in here, there's what they call the ribbon. The ribbon consists of all your tools that you're going to use. Okay? Right now, we are in 3D modeling. First thing what we do is we're going to do a sketch. We're not going to actually 3D model, we're going to sketch. Like anytime I draw something, it's always like, I imagine that it's a piece of paper. We draw on a piece of paper a shape that we want, and then we turn it into 3 dimensions. First thing we're going to do is we're going to choose 2D sketch. This is your coordinate system. This is basically your X, Y, and Z axes and the planes in which you can draw. It's not really that important for right now which plane we actually draw on. So right now I'm just going to choose this one, imagining it was on a flat table. So now the computer automatically goes to sketch mode, and you'll see a bunch of tools in the ribbon. Line, circle, arc, rectangle. There are different components for adding fillets, which adds curves to square surfaces. You have tools to modify. We're going to use trim in here today. And then you also have geometric constraints. Geometric constraint is basically, once you draw a part, you can add constraints such as perpendicular, parallel, concentric, vertical, horizontal, tangent. Once you add geometric constraints, it kind of locks the part into so it cannot be manipulated any further. And we know when a part is fully constrained when it turns purple. So if your drawing is no longer green and it's purple, it means it's fully constrained, it's fully dimensioned, it cannot be changed unless you take off one of those constraints. So for the first one, I'm going to say, let's go take the line tool. And I'm going to draw a simple shape. Now, if you look, this tool automatically snaps for you vertical, horizontal, perpendicular. It says 90 degrees. And if you look on the right hand side, there's that little box that has a constraint sign on it. It shows that it is drawing that as vertical. Now it's vertical because if you look in the top right hand corner of the screen, it'll say top. Well, that top is actually rotated. So if I was to actually turn this like this, and I escape this, and I go back to line, and I draw the same line again, it's now showing it as horizontal. So I'm going to use this tool right now. Now it's going to give me a dimension box. It's in blue. It says 0.23 inches right now. Well, I want to make that 0.75 because that's 3/4 of an inch. I'll hit enter. Now, that's the width of one box. So we're going to go down now, and we're going to draw, and we're going to say, we're going to do 2 boxes now. Now, I can go and say, all right, I know 3/4 plus 3/4, 1.5 inches. But what's cool about Inventor is you can actually do mathematical equations or parametric equations to do multifunctions. So if I want to say 0.75 times 2, it'll automatically do the math for me. I'm going to continue going on now. There's a perpendicular constraint when I hold it like this. And we're going to go 0.75 again. Then we're going to go down. We're going to go vertical. 0.75. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to say 1.5. Now if you look, it actually adds dotted lines because the program actually presumes what you're going to do next. Enter. And then we're going to finish up. Now this is very important. If you're drawing a shape that's open-ended like this, you have to make sure that you land on the end of the drawing. See how the dot turns green? That shows that the drawing is completely closed. It's a full loop. If you do not close your drawing and you have open gaps, you will not be able to turn this part into a 3D drawing. So if you look and zoom in, it's a green dot. Now, I can zoom in and out using the toggle on my mouse. We're going to land it right there. Okay. Now I have the L shape of a Tetris cube. So my drawing is completely done. Now what happens if I said I drew this and this was not perfectly straight? Okay. I can go and add a vertical, a horizontal. I can add a parallel. So I'll say parallel this to this. This tool says, hey, you already drew this perfectly parallel. Adding this constraint will over-constrain the sketch because it's already there. I drew this imperfect function, knowing that this is parallel to this is parallel to this, these are perpendicular. Okay. I'm going to say finish sketch now. When I finish the sketch, it turns into an isometric view. So now I have a 2-dimensional drawing of the shape that I want to now create into 3 dimensions. As I said before, the cubes are all 3/4 by 3/4. So what we're going to do now is that we're in 3D modeling. Once you say finish sketch, it goes automatically into 3D modeling. And it adds a new set of tools to your ribbon. The tool we're going to use next is called Extrude. Extrude has multiple functions. You can make things, you can add things, you can subtract things. So if I say to extrude, this prompt 2 box comes up, and I have to choose my profile. Now, this computer automatically chose the profile I drew because there was only one. And the fact that it's a complete drawing, it automatically does it for you. If I did not complete the sketch in 2D drawing mode, this wouldn't happen. I'd have to go back and re-edit my sketch. Now, it automatically makes the box 1 inch, but I want 0.75 because our cubes are all 0.75 by 0.75. And I'll hit enter. So now I have this little cube. If I click on this box in the corner, I can rotate this thing all the way around. Take a look at it. Okay. So here's my cube. Now, in this project, because we're only going to spend 2 hours on this, we're not going to actually go and paint these in the wooden boxes. But if I wanted to change each one of these for a color, I can come up here to the top and I can change the color. It adds a lot of aesthetics to the project when they're all different colors. It also helps the designer know which piece is which piece. So that's just using the line tool to create this shape. Let's go back and we'll try another one. So I'm going to say File, New, Standard IPT, which stands for Inventor Part. So that was me drawing it just using the line tool. I'm going to draw the same part a couple different times, a couple different ways. So I'm going to do the same process again with a 2D sketch. I'll click a different plane because it really doesn't matter right now. Now, before I use the line tool, now I'm going to try using it with a rectangle. So let's say this. Let's say I just drew a rectangle and I didn't add any dimensions. Okay. And then I drew another rectangle. I'm going to snap it automatically. See how it highlights that line? It's going to snap on there. I'm going to draw another rectangle. Square, sorry. It looks like it's a good shape, but we know there are no dimensions to this shape yet. Okay, but if you look, all of our constraints are there. Perpendicular, parallel, horizontal. I need to now dimension this part. One thing I'm going to do first, though, is I know that these are two different drawings. And if I add dimensions, like this, and I want to go and trim this later, alright, I can do so. This dimension's not right, obviously. So we're going to change this. The trim tool was highlighted. When a tool is highlighted, I cannot click on a dimension line. I actually have to hit escape and get out of this highlighted box. And I can go back and edit this dimension just by clicking on it. So we know that this is going to be 3 blocks high. So I'm going to say 0.75 times 3. Oop. The whole project gets larger. We know that this is 0.75. And we're going to know that this will be 1.5. We also need to know that this is 0.75. So we'll do the same thing like we did before. Extrude this project. Create extrusion feature failed. Okay, let's take a look and see why. Well, let's go back to our drawing. And so it looks like something's going on right here. So we're going to extend this. Alright. Let's say finish sketch now. Oh, wrong thing. So that was our issue. That line, when I trimmed that line, I ran into a little bit of a problem. And actually, if you look, I made a mistake again. I have to go back to the drawing. So if I come over here in the browser, this will show my sketch that I did before. If I right click on this, I'll edit the sketch. I need to come back and I need to change this. 1.5. Finish sketch. We'll extrude this part. 0.75. And here we go, we have another one. Okay. We'll change the color. We can call it anything you want. Indoor pool. Kind of a cool feature. Clear. Alright. And I'm going to show you one more different way we can draw this same exact part. So I'll say File, New, and IPT again. Do the same thing we just did before. Choose another piece. Now, we're drawing these as single cubes. So for the person who is new to this, they may not understand like adding all 3 of those cubes together at once and adding another one to the right hand side or left hand side to create that little foot. If they were to try and imagine, alright, let's just draw each cube one at a time. 0.75. Because I have 2-dimensional boxes there, if I hit tab, it'll go to the next dimension box. So now I have a cube. Well, we also know that there's going to be one more. There'll be one more, so I'll draw another box down. I have another box. And then I can draw a third. I can draw a third box.